So, none of you know me from the internet, but I hope this video blows up because it's something that needs to be said and needs to be talked about. RFK Jr. about a week ago said that if you are autistic, you are essentially a piece of shit. Which is not true. To be just putting that out there right now. This is the video discussing that. But he said you'll never find a job. The most disgusting thing, in my opinion, is he said you will never pay taxes. Of course it's money that everything comes down to. But he said you will never find a date. That is absolute. Everything that he said is disgusting. And I want to share my story because I have Tourette syndrome. And for those that may not know what that disorder is, you can have verbal tics and you can have motor tics. When I was younger, I would have a lot of motor tics, like arms would just flail uncontrollably. It sucks. And you can also have verbal tics, and the tics are what the things you do under the symptoms of Tourette's. So that's what I refer to as tics. And my biggest one that I currently suffer through, thankfully, you do grow out of Tourette's. It's weird, but you do kind of grow out of it a little bit. But I still do suffer from stuttering. And you may hear that sometime throughout this video. It is just kind of random. But that's the thing about Tourette's and the tics is that everything about it's very random. But what I want to get to is RFK saying that any autistic person will not accomplish anything in life. They are essentially a meat bag filled with water. I mean, that's not his words, but let's just be honest. I'm guessing that's what he thinks. Because according to him, they'll never pay taxes, they'll never work, they'll never get dates. So at that point, what else is it? Anyways, but my story starts I was born in 1992. When I was the age of 5 years old, I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. Funny enough, I was probably one of the first couple hundred people to officially be diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. They did not actually, before 1990, did not have an official diagnosis for Tourette syndrome. And what's even funnier is my grandfather, once I grew up and stuff like that, he said that he thinks he had Tourette syndrome because Tourette's is a genetic disorder. But back, whenever my grandfather thought he had it, it was probably 40s or 50s. And they didn't know about Tourette syndrome back then. Now you're probably saying, okay, you're talking about Tourette syndrome. What about autism? It's the same thing. Because I was told at a very young age that because I have Tourette's, I would never drive, I would never hold a job, I would never... Pretty much everything that RFK right now is saying about autism people is what I was told years ago when I was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. And it's, there's a couple things that have happened throughout my life. And one of the main things is, look, Florida, they got a great school system. I know you got Florida, man. But Florida does have a lottery. They have a lottery that every dollar of the lottery goes towards the school system. So the school system's great. But I was put into special needs classes until I was probably in 11th grade. Up until 9th or 10th grade at least, I was put in special needs classes. And in Florida, at least at the time, and this was middle school, I'm now 32 years old, so this is years and years ago, the one thing they made sure they taught you was to wrap a hamburger. The state of Florida at that time, and again, I currently don't live in Florida, so I don't know what the current standard is. I'm just saying, at that time, the state of Florida did not expect any special needs kids to need any other skill besides wrapping a hamburger. And this is just, don't let the government tell you what you can't do. Because I was told, very young, said, you won't do this, you won't do that, you won't do this. And I put out this video to try and push back on what our current health director is saying. I find it absolutely disgusting. I hope this video goes viral, but honestly, if I only reach one person, I hope I have helped that one person. Like I said, it's just, and Trump wants to put every special needs person on a registry. And, the only words I have for it is, it's disgusting. But, there's more stuff that has happened in my past due to Tourette's. A lot of it's been bullying, stuff like that, but I don't want to go too hard into that. But I just want to put this out there. You do matter. You are a person. You can do what you want to do. I was told several years ago, at the age of 5 years old, you would not do shit. Here I am. I'm living. Talking to you guys. This is my first video talking about anything. I don't know. I'm just a normal guy. But this is something that I feel like needs to be talked about. But, I mean, I guess I'll probably just end the video here. That's about all I kind of want to talk about. Just, don't let anyone tell you what you can and cannot do. You can do what you set your mind out to. And, yeah, just, you can do what you set your mind out to. I'll end it there. Don't let the government tell you what you can and cannot do. Don't let doctors tell you what you can and cannot do. You can do anything you set your mind out to do. I'm a living embodiment of that I feel like that I told several doctors said that I wouldn't do shit. Well, I feel pretty accomplished at this point. I'm not going to share details, but I will just say I feel very accomplished at this point. So, honestly, thankfully, there was no stuttering in this video. I promise you I do stutter. I guess I stutter more when I'm talking to someone else. So, I'm just talking to a camera at this point, so I don't feel much stress. But, let me know what y'all think. I'm curious. This is just raw. I don't plan to edit much of this. Yeah. Don't let anyone else tell you what you can and cannot do. Last point. Well, never mind.